No one's fun anymore. Whatever happened to fun?
You are listening to the Drag Dungeon Podcast with your hosts, Jay and John.
Hey, welcome back to the broadcast, your favorite podcast. You asked for this shit if you're easily offended. We don't recommend it. You asked for this shit, so here it is.
You. I'll tell you how I'm doing. Not well, bitch.
What's up, John?
What's up, Jay?
How you doing?
Hashtag blessed. How are you?
I feel bloody great.
Bloody great. Is this Samantha Jones I'm speaking to?
Total reference to the episode.
Oh, God. Ugh. I thought you were doing Samantha Jones in England.
Yeah, well, then you have to say it with an accent. I'm feeling bloody great. No, what would they say?
Bloody fine. I'm
I
gushing.
feel bloody smashing. Okay.
By the way, did you see that Kim Cattrall is like crushing it in the reviews for How I Met Your Father, the redo of How I Met Your Mother?
Yes, but I've never seen How I Met Your Mother, so I don't
Me
know
either.
about How I Met Your Father. Yeah. I'm waiting for How I Met Your Second Cousin Twice Removed. I'll watch that one.
That's going to be the reboot in about 10 years. Now, this has Hilary Duff in it. I don't know how good it is. Maybe we'll watch one episode and review it or something. I'm sure I wouldn't be interested in a show like that. It looks too hokey. It looks really fucking cheesy. But good for you, Kim Cattrall. It looks like you made the better choice.
For sure. She just needs to stay far the fuck away from this.
Let's play that clip of Kim on Piers Morgan one more time, just for old time's sake. Go ahead, Liz.
Roll tape.
Roll the tape.
Where I take to task the people from Sex and the City, and specifically Sarah Jessica Parker, is that I think she could have been nicer. I really think she could have been nicer. I don't know what her issue is.
Okay, and just like crap, episode 9, we're no strings attached. Get it? Oh, we're rounding the corner to the end of this series, but fear not, audience, listeners, subscribers. We are going to continue to pump out, and just like that content, as long as you are watching and listening, as long as there is air in our lungs, blood in our veins, and a song in our hearts, we're going to keep doing it. Because you're watching it, so why not?
For sure, I will die before we stop doing this.
I will die. There might be a season 2, which we will talk about in another video, but I know I'm traumatized. Thought this was a one-time thing, did you? No. Okay. Let's talk about this episode.
Yes, let's do. And this is called No Strings Attached. I think this should have been called Boner Killer, because that's exactly my first thought when I was watching this. I'm like, meow. Like the speaker going down. Like, no.
Mm-hmm. What even happened? Nothing even... Of course, we're going to go through it, but what even happened in this episode? I'm like, okay, this is before the finale. So I'm expecting a lot of things. They need to start answering questions, solving problems, riddles. None of that really happened. I guess in the next half-hour finale, there's going to be a lot of revelations, or there's going to be cliffhangers for... I don't know. I just feel like this was a huge fuck-up, but let's go ahead and talk about it. The episode opens with, the girls are out at lunch. These are some of my favorite scenes, even though they're not great. I like seeing them out in the world, all 3 of them. Charlotte tells Carrie that she's excited about her second date with the teacher. I think his name is Peter, right?
Well, right, but one thing we have to... There's something blaring that, I thought of right away. And so Miranda is sitting there talking about her, Habitat for Humanity crap she's going to be doing. And I'm, thinking, what happened to Cleveland? I thought she was on her way to Cleveland.
Oh, you're right.
To have her, that she mentions later, Meg Ryan, which... Girl, we know you're not Meg Ryan. It's clear. Some haggy version of Meg Ryan. I don't know. But I'm like...
You're right.
What happened? We're supposed to have this dramatic moment of her bursting in on Che, saying, "Here I am," and Che have an orgy going on.
Yeah.
We're supposed to have this moment, and we didn't have that. I was so mad. I'm I feel very deprived.
You were so right. It didn't even occur to me. What the hell happened to that? Another missed opportunity. I guess budget didn't allow for them to go to a pretend play. They'd probably just go to New Jersey or somewhere and be like, "It's Cleveland."
Yeah, I don't
what
know.
the
And
fuck?
maybe they'll have flashbacks to something later on that happened. Like she'll be mad at Shay and be like, remember when we were in Cleveland when you didn't have a manicure and you were finger fucking me and you cut me and then I bled? More bleeding? I don't know.
What? Yeah, I don't understand. That was, I think, instead of Cleveland, they gave us the episode in this, or the moment in this episode where Miranda goes to her apartment and that sort of situation happens. But you're right. That was dumb. Why do that whole I'm going to Cleveland thing and we get no closure on that? Again, another dropped storyline. Not that it was that interesting, but come on, writers.
Well, I think this whole episode was like, and we'll get back to the eating because they're always eating. First,
That's
I saw
fine.
them like, well, they're eating. What a surprise! But don't you think this was kind of like a concept episode? I really thought this was.
What do you mean?
Like, well, it had one theme. Like, it was based on a theme. Maybe they're all kind of like that, but this really was. Like, people say they put out concept albums where it's like a theme. You know what I mean? I think it was like a concept episode.
You think this was their erotica?
This was their erotica, yes. Like, I think it's either that or they were filming an episode to be shown at, like, sex ed classes in high schools, maybe.
Yeah, there was not enough of... Yeah, I can't believe I forgot about Cleveland. That's really bothering me now. Okay.
They cut out anything interesting to have this, like... I don't know. I have expected Dr. Joyce Brothers to come out and show us how to put a condom on a banana or something. Like, I really think this is going to be shown in, like, high schools.
Well, I think the humor throughout this episode or whatever is it's like that of a 12-year-old. There's a lot. This entire series has been about bodily fluids. We've had pissing, Anthony talking about shitting, we've had vomiting, now we have period stains.
And they mentioned erectile dysfunction in this episode. Like, it's all about
bodily functions, fluids. It's disgusting. It's not sophisticated at all. But okay. Yeah, okay, Cleveland, we just forget it. Okay, Miranda's not talking about it because it didn't happen.
Moving
Whatever.
on, yeah.
So, and Carrie says, well, my second date is not a date, it's a do-over. And Miranda's like, God, you don't know how to date. And I'm like, excuse you? Like, how's your life doing?
Right.
Okay. So Miranda asked Charlotte and Carrie to come help paint the women's shelter that I don't believe we ever heard about before with her and Naya this coming Saturday.
Where did that come from? I don't
know. I guess they were looking for a reason to get Lisa, Naya, and Seema all at the same place at the same time, because so far that has not happened. Carrie offers to write a check, which would be my move. And Miranda says, which does not sound natural at all, well, you can't be the white lady that just writes a check. Why not? Why?
I don't know either. Take the fucking money. I'm like, she writes out, well, Carrie, we know she's, like, tied anyways because she was being, like, auctioned off. And she's like, $1,000. And she has, like, millions of dollars when Big croaked it. So I'm like, why are you... So take the money, Miranda, and leave Carrie alone. I do think it's funny that Miranda was like, you're going to...
Yeah.
Carrie's like, okay. I was like, where have you been? Like, Carrie is such a selfish bitch. I mean...
Can you? I mean, that life insurance check was fat. I'd be like, yes, Carrie, you can write the check, but will you please just come hang out and talk? That would have been perfect. It would have
been acceptable.
Their outfits,
for sure.
The outfits everybody wore to this on Saturday, the painting thing would have made a lot more sense if they had just written checks and were coming to be moral support, because those were not painting outfits.
That is correct. They could have come like. They were not painting outfits, for sure, and carrying her Miss Piggy shoes that she set the paint on. I don't get there. But they could have just shown up and, like, made drinks, like, brought,
a bar,
made some
drinking.
Costco's. Yes. Isn't there a club next door? Like, well, I mean, they probably weren't open in the middle of the day, but I don't know. I just somehow made it happen, which Seema next time can. So, I don't know.
They could have sat around drinking, doing drugs, shooting up, whatever, while the people paint.
Doing coke.
Now, look, good painters are expensive, but with that check Carrie could have written... that Seema ended up writing, they could have just hired painters and hung out and chilled out. That would have been great. Whatever. Charlotte tells the girls that she thinks she's finally in menopause because we care.
Now look, menopause, I don't have a lot of experience with menopause.
You don't?
No, I do not. I think most I've heard about menopause is from like 80s and 90s TV shows. Like, remember on Golden Girls where Blanche thought she was pregnant?
Of course.
But she was really going through the change. Like that, there was like a lot of jokes about menopause and a lot of jokes about PMS back in the 80s and 90s. I thought that was done, but I guess it's not with this show. But, like Designing Women where Suzanne was in a bad mood and she has PMS or whatever. Like, These jokes, this is not fresh.
Didn't Julia go through menopause on the show too? I think she did.
Maybe.
I don't remember. The most recent Real Housewives example I can think of is Ramona Singer, who was in her late 50s, was on a boat, there's those little tours around Manhattan. Countess Luann, it was like the Twilight Zone. You won't even believe this. Countess Luann, who can't sing, was singing with Natalie Cole on a boat tour around New York City, and Ramona.
Natalie Cole.
Natalie fucking Cole.
Oh my God, poor Natalie Cole. That's the gig she can get.
I know. And then she pieced out just a couple years later. But, and then Ramona and Sonia. Ramona thinks she's pregnant. She's like, "Oh my God, I think I'm pregnant. I haven't gotten my period." And everybody on Earth is like, "Because you're 58 years old." But her and Sonia go into the bathroom with a pregnancy test. It was so absurd. They were just doing it for the cameras, but it was like, and at the reunion, they got red for filth because everybody's like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You're a grandmother or whatever." She's not a grandmother, but she's old. Okay. So Charlotte's like, "Oh, I don't have any of the symptoms." You're right about Charlotte's bad acting, man. It is getting worse every episode.
It is
I don't have any
really
of the
bad, this episode. Every scene she's in, you're just like, what are you thinking, girl? Like that scene at the end, I'm jumping ahead, where she had to leave. She goes, "I had to go." Like when she did that, I was like, "You're done. Your career's over. Sorry, quit acting." Quit drag.
I almost quit drag. I almost recorded it on my phone and sent it to you. I know which one you're talking about. She's like, "It's like having a toddler again. I'm sick of it. I gotta go. Bye."
Yes, that's the one where she's like, "Oh my God, I felt better acting in a drag race challenge. Sorry to go there, but I'm better."
Ugh.
Terrible.
Okay. Fast forward to Carrie's apartment, where Lisette comes upstairs wearing a leotard with a pool cover, not a pool cover, but a cover up for, poolside wrapped around her waist.
Yeah. Well, and Carrie's like, "Hello?" I'm like, "Don't you have a peephole on your door?"
Or a buzzer. There's only like two apartments in that building.
The details on this show, like she has to have a peephole. Like my apartment I live in an apartment, has a peephole. Carrie, your apartment has a peephole.
Get a Ring video camera. Didn't Amazon sponsor this?
Yeah, it's details, people.
"Hello, who is this?" I'm like, "This isn't I Love Lucy. You can look and see who's there." Whatever.
She has a chain.
A chain.
All right, sorry, I'm going on about the door.
Yeah, so Lisette comes off to give Carrie a piece of jewelry, which is nice. I really like Lisette. I know we have brief moments of her. It's not enough to be like, "I'm in love with her," but I really wish they would have done more with her. She gives Carrie a ring that she made, and she's like, "Would you mind putting this on Instagram?" I don't have any major problems with this little short scene, do you?
It's fine. I mean, I hardly think Carrie's in the same level as Scarlett Johansson. But okay. And I didn't like Carrie. Is she not capable of lying or something? Because she got the ring and she's like, "That's pretty." I would have been like, "That's beautiful." Like, it's a gift someone's giving you that they handmade. And you're like, "That's pretty." I'm like, can you do you have any personality, girl? Like, no. I don't know.
She didn't invite her in for a cup of coffee or something. She's like, just...
What's that?
Conversation.
The doorway.
Conversation through the door. She should have kept the chain locked, too. That would have been even funnier.
I know, right? Just speaking through the crack of the door. That is hilarious. And her arm comes in with the ring and the box through the crack of the door.
Carrie should have snatched the ring and then been like, "I'm calling the police."
Right, she could be like, "Oh, that you have a gift for me. Can you just leave it out there at the door?"
Just leave it and walk away. Get out.
Get it in a few minutes.
I did like that.
It's a pandemic, bitch.
Where's your Can you mask up? Who'd you vote for? I did like that Lisette says, "I'm sorry I have to do this. It's so embarrassing, but I don't want to have to go back to modeling."
Oh my God.
Very
I do not
relatable.
feel bad for her.
Very relatable. Jay and I are really
That's what I'm saying, too. If this podcast doesn't work out, I'm going back to modeling.
I don't want to have to go back to being in Vogue. It's too much trouble. Or OnlyFans. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm tired.
OnlyFans. My OnlyFans has gone down to 50 cents a month. I've marked it down so many times, I can't go back to that.
It's on sale $1 only if you mention Drag Dungeon Podcast. Okay, with the coupon
that's
code.
So sad when I see that people had to mark down their OnlyFans. It's like,
Okay, well, maybe I marked mine down. Get out of my life. Whatever. Lisette remarks that Carrie is still wearing her wedding ring. And instead of in just Carrie fashion blurting out, "He's dead. He's dead and your ring's not going to make it any better."
No.
It was kind of like a little tender moment. And Lisette just looks awkward. She's like, "I just really came up here to ask you to put this on Instagram. I don't really need your whole life story, but whatever." Charlotte But we're over at Charlotte's apartment now. She's helping Rock with her homework for her, or his, whatever it is, bat mitzvah, learning Hebrew, their homework.
Yeah, their homework, yeah.
And Rock is not having it. They're like, oh, God, fuck this. Which I totally understand because that looks very difficult. And Anthony calls Charlotte. And did you want to say?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, and having Charlotte help with homework, I mean, I don't know. I don't trust she knows anything. She's talking about anything.
Yeah, I wonder if she went to college. I don't remember if they've ever mentioned that.
I know her story, but
she didn't go to acting school.
But she definitely did not do that.
Anthony calls and gives Rock the perfect moment to escape. Anthony calls and says, can I bring a date to dinner? I can't do an Anthony accent, but can I bring a date to dinner? And he's lugging the bread from his Hot Guy Bakery into the truck, which was a little funny, but Charlotte says...
Yeah, you don't have to do an accent. You just have to be loud. Anyway, that's all.
Can I bring a date?
He just yells all.
And Charlotte says, are they appropriate to be around children, which I think is funny. In the middle of their phone call, Lily screams from the bathroom because she's getting her period and she might have to miss a pool party. Lily is she's really going for it. Like, she's overacting. She's picking up, she sees that Charlotte is failing a little bit and she's trying to make up for it. What do you think about her screaming?
It's like bloody murder. Bloody murder. Sorry, I'm going to have this whole thing.
Bloody.
But I don't know. She isn't a good actress. I mean, she's a little girl, so
There's time for her.
Yeah, I don't want to excuse that away because they're, like what, Jodie Foster when she was a kid. I don't mean to compare her to Jodie Foster.
It's like
either,
a child prodigy.
Right, she could be better, and she's not very good, but she's a kid. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not gonna harp on her.
Yeah, I don't want to go in too hard on her. Some people are really going in on these kid actors. I'm like, whoa, calm down. Charlotte tells Lily it's tampon time, and Lily's like, fuck no, but we see later that it's gonna happen. Che and Miranda are having a romantic dinner at a shitty diner. And two of Che's fans, because she's so famous, from her Check the Box Netflix special. Two fans approach Che and they're like, oh my God, it's Che Diaz. Can we have a photo? And poor pathetic Miranda's like, I'll take the picture.
Are you famous? Oh my God. What?
I feel like,
that?
As obnoxious as this is, that might be true. Like, people might be out in the street saying that. Are you famous? Yeah. And then the two fans are like, oh, Che. By the way, this I don't find realistic because she's clearly there on a date. And they're like, you fucked a friend of ours in Detroit and whatever. And Che looks slightly uncomfortable, but not uncomfortable enough, in my opinion. I felt like she should have shown a little humility in that moment, but whatever. She's like, okay, thanks, bye.
Yeah, and one thing you say about her asking, are you famous too, is if you live in LA, which I did for a short minute, if you say you're an actor, everyone automatically says to you, what have you been in? Like, that is like the answer. I don't know if it's still that way, but this was when I was there. So that's the answer. They always said, so what have you been in? That's the question. And most of the time you haven't been in anything.
Nothing yet.
So it's kind of like, right? It's kind of like that.
You're like, I have a podcast. I've been in the podcast. It's doing real well.
Bitch.
And the problem with this one is they're like, what's it called? I'm like, well, Drag Dungeon. They're like, are you a drag queen? I'm like, oh man.
Look. Oh my God, it's like the story. Yeah. Ugh, that's gross. I mean, this podcast, like, and I tell people I have a podcast, they're like, really? What's it called? I'm like, I don't know you long enough.
I don't want you to listen to it.
So Googling my shit. Like, I'm like, because what if I want to talk about you tomorrow? No.
Well, we do that on patreon.com/dragdungeon every week, so come join the fun.
We talk about our dates and stuff and details, so those people don't need to be listening.
We talk about our menopausal symptoms on Patreon. Oh, by the way, just a news update. Tomorrow on Patreon, we're going to be reviewing and recapping. Not reviewing and recapping. We're going to be reacting briefly to the season finale promo for And Just Like That, exclusively on our Patreon. So if you want to see that, plus a bonus episode, which we do every week, we'll see you over there. Thank you for putting up with our plug.
Yes.
Okay, Carrie and Seema are in line for a club. Looking gorgeous. They both look really nice here, I think. Even though Carrie's hair is pulled back, which I know you find offensive.
I do, and I kind of found her dress a tad offensive. Only because they're going to this club, this, like, clearly, like, chic, like, trendy club, and Carrie's wearing, like, a floral print. I mean, girl, a floral print.
Florals
to go
for
dancing
spring.
In this, like, club.
Groundbreaking.
Fuck. No, groundbreaking.
But Seema looks... I think I was mostly talking about Seema.
She always looks great.
She's wearing a glittery blue dress that is so... flattering on her. Really like that. Seema looked great this entire episode, to be honest. Like she did. Seema says it's her birthday and she just wants to go dancing. Very simple, fun. I love people that don't make a big deal out of their birthday because I got some friends, and if they're listening, you know who you are, who make a huge deal out. It's my birthday month. I'm like, you don't get a whole month, girl. Relax. And I've been to some uncomfortable.
I went a whole month. I went a whole month for my birthday.
Okay, I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you. No, I'm not.
I love a birthday, and I will milk my birthday, and I will take the day off, the week off. If it's on like a Tuesday, I'm taking off the Monday and Tuesday, maybe the Wednesday, in case I want to go out on Tuesday. And then I buy myself shit, and I make all the food that I want. I get cake. I do the whole damn thing.
Well, you're very good with holidays.
I am really good with holidays.
Not that your birthday's a holiday. It's just a stupid... No,
it absolutely should be.
To each their own. But I think I've had people make it. I mean, they get full-on diva behavior. You don't impose so much on other people, which is nice.
No, it's on my own. Yeah, it's true.
So they're tired of waiting in this line. Seema's like, I'm way too hot to be here with these Gen Z assholes, and she is. So that Carrie steps up to try and now. By the way, in the old series, Carrie was, in her words, part of the glitterati. She was on the social scene. I don't know what happened. I guess she married. Yeah, I guess she got married and gave up her entire life and personality and what. Little bit of fame she had because the guy doesn't recognize her. He don't care. It's a younger, cute black guy. And then Seema comes up and Carrie tries to talk her way into the club, which doesn't work. Then Seema comes up and offers him money. What's wrong with that? I don't know. Are people against taking bribes now? You kids.
I know. I would have... Well, I don't know.
I'm like, step right up.
Maybe it wasn't... Well, and we didn't see how much it was. Maybe it was like... Maybe it was like
a $1.
$2 bill. It was like...
A Sacagawea gold coin.
Right, it was like nothing. She like dug it out from the bottom of her purse in a watch. I don't know.
Maybe she's like me and has a Ziploc for Coinstar of just loose change in her car, and she's like, "Here, I've got this bag of change."
It was like yen or something. It was like from another country. It wasn't even real. It was Monopoly money.
Monopoly money. Mm-hmm. Yeah, hey, that's not a bad idea. So the guy says, hell no, they got shut down. So they just go have dinner at a nice restaurant. That would be preferable to me anyway.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Carrie tells Seema that she's going to go on a second date with the barf guy, Peter.
The barf guy.
Okay, back to... You want to say something else on that? Oh.
No, I just was, that whole thing of which this episode, which we'll get to the end, is so disappointing. This whole, like I feel like we were just teased and left for dead with this.
We are. It's awful.
Barf guy by the end of this, but we'll get there. Go ahead.
Also, Carrie invites Seema to the painting party at the homeless shelter. So you're right. It all does kind of culminate at the shelter. Back in Charlotte's apartment for more tampon talk. Mm-hmm.
Well, wait. So what I think is crazy is, we talk about how selfish Carrie is and how self-centered she is. But why do all of these people want to be friends with her? Like, if you notice, she said, Seema asked her if she wanted to go to matinee, and she's like, "Oh, I'm busy. I have to go to this tampon bloody painting this house, ruin my shoes thing."
Period party.
And then Seema's like, "I'll drive you." And she's like, "Why do you want to do that?" I'm like, "Why does everyone want to be friends with Carrie?" Like, I don't see the appeal.
I don't either. She doesn't seem like a barrel of laughs or anything. So. And it's not about the clout because she's not popular anymore. Her star has, faded. Her fame, whatever fame she had, is totally faded. So I don't know. Seema, we love you. Ditch Carrie.
Ditch her. Get your own show. Like, when stuff like this happens, I kind of think I'm like, this is so dumb. I'm like, I wonder what happened off camera. Like, do you think they, have girls' nights where they, sleep over and, I don't know, big things of popcorn and watch Lifetime movies all day? Like, do they have these things and we just don't get to see them on camera?
You mean the characters or the actresses?
No, the character. Well, both, but especially the characters. I try to create their backstory for them so what they're doing makes sense. Is that, exhausting or what?
Well, you're doing the homework they should probably be doing as actors.
Right.
I don't think they thought that much further, and I don't think the writers did either.
No, agree.
Okay. Charlotte is trying to show and tell Lily how to insert a tampon. Now, this scene went on forever.
And they're trying to have a dinner party, and Lily's like, "I need to learn now." And Charlotte's like, okay, Jesus, let's go do it now. Tell all the guests to eat some challah bread while we go and try to insert a tampon. Like,
I would have, if I were Charlotte, I'd have been like, now I know this is an important mother-daughter moment to her, but I'd have been like, girl, diaper up. We're having dinner. Like, we'll do it tomorrow.
right. Something. Grab some napkins. I don't know what. Like some cotton balls. Whatever you got to make that stop until we get done eating this nice Jewish dinner that we've prepared. Like, I don't know. Like,
and it's happening right as Anthony and his racist state arrive. Now, next we have the segment where Anthony's date says, "Is this a Jewish house? The Holocaust didn't happen." No, this was internet outrage.
Yes, people were so mad because it was on the Day of Remembrance, and people were pissed.
Oh, how unfortunate! How dreadful! Who's dumb
Well,
here?
I think this was an attempt for the writers in the show to create some buzz, like talk and to get people, to talk about the episode. So they did something like this. I mean, they all had to know this was going to happen. Like, they know people are going to recap and talk about this show, and they know that it's not going well for them. So they try to come up, I guess, with stuff to like get some talk, like no press is bad press kind of thing. Don't you? What do you think?
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know if they're quite that bright to think about that.
No, I'm giving them a lot of credit. Yeah.
You are giving them a lot of credit, but I don't know. I think that, and I don't even want to talk about it that long because I feel like it's a little reckless and irresponsible. I know most people are responsible enough to know that that's, bullshit and stupid, but I hate that they even put it in because, number one, it doesn't make sense with the characters in the setting. And, I mean, their last name is Goldenblatt, right?
Right. I agree.
It's very, I mean, we were doing this in, sorry to yet again reference the Golden Girls. The Mortimer Club is restricted.
Are you trying to make people not want to watch this? What are you doing?
I don't know. And Anthony's like, get out. It played like it was supposed to be funny that he's kicking a racist out. But I'm like, it just did not fit right. It's stupid. So whatever.
Well, he didn't even give it a beat.
No.
Like, he was like, oh, the Holocaust is get out. I'm like, give it a beat. Like,
he knew it was coming.
More than one time in this episode. Yeah, more than one time in this episode, they missed a beat. They missed giving a beat to make something more realistic. And this is one, and I'll mention the other one later.
Or they give too many beats between exchanges. Okay, at Carrie's apartment, she's fiddling around with her and Big's wedding rings, having like a moment. Any thoughts on that?
I don't know. I just kept thinking of that aura ring that Charlotte was trying to give Harry right before she sucked him off. Like, I just kept thinking of that. I don't know why. But, and we didn't mention, like, whenever Carrie's neighbor was giving her that ring that Carrie just kind of liked, she was like, oh, that's pretty. And Carrie's wedding ring, it was literally a band.
A plain
tarnished band. Yes, I'm like, really? Were you just... Well, maybe that was sarcasm, because Carrie was like, the ring she like handmade and gave her, and Carrie's like, that's pretty. And so maybe she was being, sarcastic.
Right, it wasn't like a 10-carat diamond ring. It was a fucking band. Everybody has a band.
Yeah, it was nothing.
Stupid.
But whatever.
Lissette, you're a jewelry designer. You should be remarking on dumb, stupid bands. I mean, what do you say that to everybody? Next scene, Carrie meets Paul outside of the restaurant for yet another attempt at a date. I'd have been so out at this point. But she's meeting him just to tell him they're not having dinner after all.
Yeah, what is that? Like, she's there already, so why not just get a free meal? Jesus Christ.
Thank you.
You're there. Just can't you be friends? Can't you just say, this isn't working out. I don't really want to date because I'm still getting over my dead husband. Let's just hang out as friends. Like, can't you do that? Or do you have to be so fucking Carrie dramatic and make it all about you?
No, and he acted appreciative. Like, well, I really appreciate. I'm like, I don't. I wasted cab money getting up here. I took time out of my busy life as a math teacher, substitute, whatever he is. And she got all dressed up, I shaved just to get here and get stood up again. And he's so cool about it. He's too good for her.
Right. He's like, I had the class hurry up and rack those basketballs so I could get my substitute PE teacher job to come here, hoping you'd buy me dinner, you bitch.
To set up the cones for driver's ed like Dorothy.
Right. I took those cones down so fast so I could race here and take you out to dinner.
It's so dumb. Now, I have done this, but only because, like, if it's a Tinder date or something, met the person, and either the visual is sometimes it looks like a completely different person, or they are out of the gate obnoxious. And I've been like, I gotta, and it's very awkward to get out of. Have you had that happen?
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Dating is hard. Like, you just,
But these
how do you
people have already
explain that?
met.
Right, it's true. They already met. They puked all over each other. I'm like, they've very intimate already. They just had one more step into, like, that they could get into to be more intimate with each other. If you puke on somebody, you should be able to say, let's just be friends, right?
Yeah. And she's not allowed to have a man friend?
Yeah.
Maybe his schedule's too busy and he can't jump every time she said, jump!
That's probably it. And I was thinking, like, okay, so now she's not going to date anymore. So what are we going to care about, with Carrie? Like, she's not dating, so she's not going to, like, have sex with anyone. Like, why should we care about this bitch?
Thank you.
I don't know.
That's a good point. That's what I was talking about at the beginning of this year. When Big died, I was so happy because that meant that she could go out and date again, which would be the whole fun of the show. And she hasn't. So what is her purpose? You're right. Okay, hold on. Where am I? Oh, Charlotte's again talking to Lily about putting a tampon. Why do we need to see this 3 or 4 times?
Oh my God, I don't know. Just to torture us.
And so let's skip that and go straight to Miranda stalking Che for the 2nd or 3rd time. Showing up uninvited to her apartment. And she's like, how'd you get in my building? I know the code.
Right. And what was that knock? Like, they're really trying to create Miranda, give her, like, personality. And, like, she did that weird, like, secret knock they had, I guess. Maybe if she didn't do that, Shay wouldn't have known it was her and would have sicked the dogs on her. I don't really know what that was about. But I was like, this is just like creating some sort of personality for Miranda. And personally, I don't like it. I'm just saying.
I don't either. I
like
think she should have just brought a crowbar or like a lock picking kit, and they should have shown her like, or with one of those
battery ram.
A battering ram.
Battery ram and just like burst through the door.
I am
What's up,
Spartacus.
Che?
Yeah.
I needed me some Che.
I need Che.
She said, I was craving some Che. That's what she said.
I wrote that down too. I wanted to vomit. I'm craving me
God,
some
you did.
Che. So Che does not want to see Miranda. They're like, what are you doing here, bitch? And Miranda is a total basket case. She gets embarrassed and she brought her cookies and everything and she starts to run away and then Che chases after her. And they're like, we're not dating. You're not my girlfriend. And Miranda's like, we're not?
God.
We're not dating?
She's
I'm like,
so
yeah.
pathetic.
Yeah, bitch. You broke up with your husband and ruined your family on a whim without even knowing the circumstances. Real smart. Fucking dumbass. Now we're getting to the not the homeless shelter, the women's shelter. Seema and Carrie arrive. Seema looks great. No intention on painting at all. Do you like what she was wearing?
I did. She looked so great this whole
Makeup
entire
perfect.
makeup flawless. She looked great, except I do have a comment about something she wore at the end, but we'll get there. But no, Seema's great. She showed up. She's like, fuck this shit. I'm not touching any of this crap. I'm going to go smoke, and I'll cut you a check. And then Miranda lets her off the hook, but Carrie's like, has to be held captive and forced into doing labor.
Well, Seema is free from white guilt, and I totally support her in that. Write that check, girl. Go sit down, flirt with people on the street. I'm down with you, Seema. Seema, we're with you. I'd be sitting with her. I'd be like, can you just write an extra couple zeros on there, and I'll take credit for your check as well.
Team Seema.
Team Seema. She sees that paint roller brush come at her from Brady's girlfriend at the desk there, and she's like, no.
You're right. Absolutely not, bitch.
Steve and Brady arrive, and I'm immediately like, what the fuck is Steve doing here?
Yeah, I didn't get that either. Like, he shows up and he's like, hey, Carrie. Oh, wait, that's not his joke. That's not his voice.
Hey.
hey, Carrie.
That's Bill Cosby. He's in the finale. You got mixed up. hey. Why is Steve there? I'd have been like, fuck you and your shelter, you selfish.
I don't know. I know. He's there to just throw paint in Miranda's face. That's what I thought.
Professor Naya arrives. Now, I believe theory that they have dorked her down a little bit to make her look a little uptight and just kind of unappealing here. Because later she has some conflict with her husband. But still, she's pretty.
I didn't feel like I even knew who they were. Like, we hardly ever saw them in this whole series. I'm like, I don't know who these people are. I don't know why. I mean, I knew who they were, but, I didn't feel like I knew who they were and why I should care about them because we saw them so very little. Like, they didn't even have a real storyline.
Well, they were given 2 measly scenes to their own, scattered throughout a couple episodes, and it was not enough for us to care about her. So sorry, it's nothing against the actress. And by the way, people were commenting that the actress is, I don't know how old she is, I didn't look. Sorry, I didn't do my research. But people are like, she's almost 50, she's too old. I don't know how old she is. People are like, she's too damn old to get pregnant naturally. I'm like, okay, I'll stay out of that one.
Have you seen the Guinness Book of World Records or the Star magazine? We'll get birth at like all kinds of
Bat
age.
boy,
like,
alien baby.
Yeah. If there can be alien babies and bat babies, she could have a baby too.
Yeah, sure she could. Kenya Moore from Real Housewives of Atlanta had hers at 50. Janet had hers at 50. Well, Kenya was, I think, 48 or 9. But it's not impossible, but you really have to go do the whole science fiction laboratory thing. No offense, anybody. I think, get your baby however you want. Steal it. I don't care.
Steal it. Steal it on the subway. Offer to hold somebody's baby on the subway where they dig something out of their purse and run. Look at the nanny.
Now Charlotte rolls
not
up.
Really.
Charlotte rolls up in a stretch limo, which I think is fabulous. I know those
in front of like a women's shelter that doesn't even have the water turned on.
I love that.
Because when he fished out a ring, the water wasn't on, so it's just like crap hole, and she rolls up in a limo. Jesus.
I love that because Lisa is bawling. Okay. By the way, her name's Lisa Todd Wexley. I've been saying Wexler. It's Wexley. Glad I figured that out at the end of the series.
So, and what was she wearing? Is she like a hairstylist? Like,
I was confused at first. I thought, is she just holding? But I think it's intentionally designed that way. I thought it was kind of pretty, actually. Kind of cool.
But it had like a hairbrush and like stuff on there. I'm like, is this Professor Vidal Sassoon? Like, what is this outfit she's wearing?
I'm not going to claim to understand the fashion here, but I did think it was cool. Because it had like a gold comb in it. I don't know. We'll post a picture of it on here.
Okay.
Everybody weigh in.
It's a utility thing. Very utility, I'm going hiking, but I want to look fabulous while I'm on the trail. Like on safari. It's almost like a safari look. Like if you're on, the boat going down the river fighting off alligators.
And you swing by the Redken Institute for hair technology on the way. Yeah.
Right, the Redken.
I did think the boots were ugly, though. I didn't think the boots went with it, but whatever.
Yeah.
We're fashion experts. Get into it. Now, Naya and her cute husband are starting to talk because he sees that Herbert, Lisa's husband, and their adorable kids are all painting, and it's a very like, oh, they said Norman Rockwell moment. And he's looking over, and then he looks to Naya, and he is starting to resent her because he wants kids, and she's too dry. And he's wearing a very...
sad. He is so cute, and I loved his hat.
I like the hat too.
Hat. Yes, I want one of those. I thought about getting a signature hat. Like I see people with hats. Like Boy George has hats. Like I want a signature hat, but my hair's too good. I don't know about a hat.
Well, send them in. We'll have the people vote. Which hat do you like on Jay the best?
Right. I have to do some shopping. I want to find me a signature hat.
Now his hat, it's like a blue shiny something. I don't think many people could pull that off, but he was pulling it off.
Yeah, I don't think I could. No, he looked great.
Yeah, that's a bald man hat. Now, or very short, tight haircut. But don't you love that he's starting to resent her? Get out, girl. Get out.
Well, at least it's some drama. Like, again, I don't know who these people are, really. So we're learning something about, even though it's the same thing we've been learning about them the whole time. They're not very three-dimensional characters, but it's something. It's something. Why
couldn't they run into the gay We Have a Toddler people? Couldn't they have been volunteering also? I'm trying to work them into every episode.
Oh, that would have been great if they showed up.
What are you doing here? And Lisa's stretch limo ran into their toddler in the street.
You said, that's hilarious. Like they're walking and the limo comes in and plows them over, and Charlotte just gets out. Hey everyone! Like
they should be like a little Easter egg in every episode, and they run the toddler over, and Lisa gets out and goes, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And then Seema comes over and goes, "Let me write you a check for that toddler."
Write her a check. Yes.
I'll cover I'll buy you a new one on the black market.
I'll buy you a new baby. I'll buy a baby for everyone. There's so many people here who want to have kids. Let me just write y'all a check. I'm sick of hearing it.
Exactly. Speaking of Seema, my favorite scenes of Seema are the ones where she's just by herself being fabulous. She's sitting outside smoking her cigarette, and the hot guy rolls up, the club owner. and they have some cute little flirting and banter. Now, this guy was on Sex and the City, the original series, before. I don't recall who he played, though. I think he was either in the fashion show episode or he played a chef or something. Somebody in the comments tell me, because I was too lazy to look it up.
He played a chef.
I really don't remember.
That's funny. He played a chef. He was the plumber that like fished Carrie.
It might have been a plumber. I don't remember who he was, but he still looks.
Carrie's drains in more than one way.
It might have been. He still looks really good, though. So this guy is super cute.
Yeah. It was
And
fun.
I
It was a
like
fun
him.
little scene.
Yeah, I like him with Seema. Now I pictured Seema with an older man, but this guy I'm fine with too.
Well, I kind of saw her with a bigger guy. Like he's pretty skinny, and she's not really tiny. And I love her, so that's not a read. I just thought she would be with like a bigger guy, maybe.
Yeah, I gotcha. Now, this I feel is an important scene and moment. Carrie and Steve are painting together. They got paired up somehow through all this.
Well, Steve wanted to be with her, so he probably was planning this from the beginning.
Oh, good point. And Steve asked Carrie if she introduced Miranda and Che to Miranda. And Carrie was like, she kind of fumbled. I'm like, no, you didn't introduce them. They were at your funeral together. Not your funeral, Big's funeral. So you were kind of the catalyst, but you didn't actually, you have nothing to feel guilty about here except for being a selfish asshole.
Right, for other, like, everything else. No, she's like, he was like, so did he want to be with a woman? And Carrie's like, it's about being with Che. That's all I can say. I'm like, Carrie, you're slipping into rhyme here. Come back.
Right. Slipping into rhyme. Now, what I like about this is both Steve and Carrie are misgendering Che. Now, I know we had a whole thing about this, but I think it's funny that the writers have been so hell-bent on including the non-binary storyline, but when it's just, you see behind closed doors, when it's just Carrie and Steve, that all goes out the window. So is Miranda a lesbian now? Does she like women? And Carrie's like, she doesn't like just women. It's just about Che. And I'm like, oh, Che's a woman now. Just a little, I just happen to notice.
No, I noticed that too. I know.
Okay. Carrie steps on some paint when Steve asks her, I forgot what did he ask her?
What happened, Carrie? Something like that.
What happened, Carrie? What does she like?
Oh, that's
pussy
better.
now?
Yeah, that sounds.
And
yeah.
Carrie steps back in her totally nonsensical shoes for painting.
Oh, it's her Miss Piggy shoes.
Her Miss Piggy shoes.
Doing wearing those and wearing the wedding ring while she paints. This is such
This dumb bitch.
Is such bullshit. No one would do this. Okay, maybe they would, but I don't know. Stupid.
I guess someone who's never done any manual labor or
Did
whatever.
you think though, for a minute, that Steve and Carrie might get together?
Yes, I
was
did.
Really hoping, yes.
That's my
I was
next
really
note.
hoping that Steve would be like finger banging her and Miranda walk in. Could you imagine?
I would love it. Yes, I'm
Oh
so
my
glad
God.
you. Yeah, I haven't that written down. I just want to get to a couple more things before we talk about the possible
sorry.
romance.
I
No, it's
jumped to
okay.
the finger banging. Leave it to me.
No, it's okay. I'm totally on board with you. But a couple things happened before that really set it up for a romantic moment. Carrie drops Big's ring down the sink because she's an idiot. She's like, you know what I'm doing today? Going to Brooklyn in a bad neighborhood to paint a women's shelter. Let me put on a price list because it's, her dead husband's wedding ring. Which I'm sure is like a very expensive, even though it's just a simple band, I'm sure it's very expensive.
She like secured with a Band-Aid. Girl,
So
what is
fucking
wrong
dumb.
with you?
You know, in the original series, she put Aiden's engagement ring around her neck as a necklace. I thought that was cute.
Hello, girl. Did that work for you before? Yes. Why didn't you do that again? If
Stupid.
it's not broke, don't fix it.
The writers didn't watch the original series. They have zero interest in it.
Right? They don't even know who these people are.
Usually for shows like this, there's like a character Bible, so you know kind of who you're writing about. These people are like, no, we're reinventing them. They're new people now. I am the captain now.
I am the captain.
So Carrie yells for Steve, Steve, come help me. And Steve comes on a white horse, dressed as a knight, to save the day. And let me tell you, I got a little bit wet right there. He knows how to do plumbing. Do you think Che's doing plumbing? I don't think so.
Maybe
Well,
a different kind of plumbing.
Different kind of plumbing, but not actually getting out a wrench and unscrewing pipes. I don't see that happening.
Well, maybe.
You never know. You're right. Who am I to
I can
say?
make any of this stuff sexual. Snaking her drain,
Lily approaches Charlotte screaming because she lost she can't locate her tampon string. And before we get into that, Lisa Todd is outside like a boss on her cell phone. She had no intention of painting, okay? Number one, that designer outfit, no. Limo, no. And then Miranda's like, well, who asked her to help find lunch? Was it Miranda? No, Naya.
Somebody said they had canceled or something like that. I don't remember.
It was
who
Naya.
who said that.
Naya
Yeah,
said,
okay.
Lisa said, is there anything I can do to help? Because I'm not painting or doing any of this labor. And Naya's
I'm not
like,
doing any of this bullshit.
Naya's like, yeah, can you get lunch for 100 people here? I'm like, damn, she went right in. But Lisa's like, no problem. I have every food truck in the tri-state area on my steep speed dial. Go, girl.
Speed dial. Yeah.
Very Samantha Jones energy. And Steve pulls the ring out of the plumbing and hands it to Carrie, and it looked like a proposal. He's down on his knees. It looks like a proposal. Is this foreshadowing?
I was really worried that the water wasn't turned off. Like the whole thing, did he turn the water off? Like,
that would have been pretty funny, actually, if the whole place flooded.
Water comes flooding out and like destroys the whole house. It would all been Carrie's fucking fault. Oh my god, that would have been so good.
You just see Charlotte's
She
kids
destroys
floating
the
by,
woman's
like,
home.
Mom!
Down the stairs.
So, yeah, this is where I wrote down, I see romance between Carrie and Steve. I do.
Yeah.
Because a little bit later, he
love
brings
it.
her lemonade. He's very, like, to the rescue in all this.
Is that what was in that cup? Lemonade?
Well, there was nothing in the cup.
Oh, no. Was it supposed to be lemonade? Because I missed that.
He said lemonade, I think. So, yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah, I'm like, look, Carrie, you're selfish, and Steve still likes you.
I know. He's a keeper, Carrie, because most people can't stand your ass, including us. So you need to settle or something.
Yeah, he's such a gentleman. I love him. Hashtag
so
justice
cute.
for Steve. That's such a big hashtag. It's getting news coverage.
I love it. Justice for Steve.
So Miranda's outside the porta potty trying to talk Lily through locating the tampon string. This is just too much tampon talk. Not just because we're gay men. It's too damn much. More bodily fluid
It is
stuff.
it is insane how much this has gone. I'm telling you, it's like a concept episode. Like it's almost separate from
It's an after-school
the
special.
reality of the show. Yeah, I don't know. This is going to be in sex ed classes. I really think so.
I think you might be right. Even when Charlotte's like, jam it up there.
I know, jam it in.
Nye and her husband are talking again about having kids because that's their entire identity. And he's like, I just don't think I should be having to talk myself out of this. And I'm like, you're right, you shouldn't. But you guys have been together, they said 15 years. That you should have been talking about this year 5. In my opinion. Because I'm now a OBGYN. So.
Get out the clamps. Or forceps. What is it? Forceps?
Yeah, forceps. And
Okay, great.
so, okay, Lily's freaking out in the porta potty, and Charlotte goes to get her some water, and she's got a big ass bloody period stain on her ass.
I have so much to say about this.
Go for it.
I have to. Okay, so first of all, that was completely unnecessary.
Gross.
It was the equivalent of the puking episode. I mean, besides wanting to puke, we didn't need to see that. They could have just said it. We didn't need to see it. And 2, like my biggest concern were the costume people, whoever it was, that had to paint that crotch red. Like I felt so bad for them. I'm like, I bet you're questioning your life choices because with TV they have to make more than one of those. So what in case they get something on one, they have another backup. Could you imagine that's your job?
Yeah, they're like, we need the hero version of the bloody overalls for Charlotte. They've got a rack of them, like 5 of them. Like this one?
Somebody
No.
Had to paint all of those crotches.
I mean, wow. I don't know. Do you envy that person? Depends on what they were getting paid.
No, I feel so bad for them.
It's just so childish. All the humor or lack of is so amateurish and juvenile. I don't understand. The writers fucking suck. I'm sorry, you guys.
Miranda called it a flash period.
A flash period.
So I don't know. Is it like a flash flooding?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're like, she's hemorrhaging. Okay. Hold on one second here. Miranda. So Miranda and Carrie go and wrap a shirt around Charlotte. Charlotte doesn't seem sufficiently horrified to me. Because she's pretty uptight, She's just like,
Yeah.
What am I bleeding? This is where the bad acting happens. I have to go. I'm so frustrated. I'm acting.
Oh my god. I have to go. My daughter. It's like having a infant who's bleeding and
Yeah.
has lost their tampon string.
Yeah. Carrie's in there. Steve brings her the lemonade in the empty coffee cup or whatever. And Steve says, I'm never taking my wedding ring off. I'm never taking it off. I'm waiting for Miranda
so
and
sad.
Jay. I think that Steve would have been fine with opening up their marriage. Now, I'm not a huge fan of open marriages, but to each their own. And I think that if Miranda said, look, I like our life. We have a nice place to live. We have a kid. I just want to go fuck around with this person. I think Steve might have been like, okay.
Well, I think Steve would have been like, okay, but let me just watch my shows. Bye, girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Go find Shay. I'm good right here. I'm going to turn on. And they mentioned Ripley's Believe It or Not on the show. And I'm like, that's a reference. Will anybody know what that is? So
Yeah.
he's like, I'm watching kids say the darndest things. Go out with Shay.
Let me tell you, a deaf man just at home watching TV, waiting for me to get done with my gallivanting and, going around town doing whatever the fuck I want. That sounds perfect to me. So,
Sounds so romantic.
So Carrie kind of realizes that she's telling Steve, don't you want to find the one? Maybe you should just take that ring off. So the episode kind of ends up with Carrie back at her apartment, and she's like, I should take my own advice, which is very introspective. She's growing a little bit, too late in the series, but she's
I
like...
know, 9 episodes. This is 9, right?
Mm-hmm.
9 episodes in, she finally gets somewhat of a clue.
She's like, Leon, let me put my ring away and text the guy I barfed on one more time. I'm like, girl, not that there's anything wrong with Peter, even though we said he wasn't our favorite on her Tinder list, on her Tinder matches, but find somebody else. Let's start fresh.
I
Now,
don't think he's, like, fabulous enough.
no.
Like, he's a little, like, he get lost in a crowd. Like, he needed to be more, like, big, like, as far as, like, that, what's the word I'm trying
Big
to
dick
think
energy,
of?
boss, a boss.
Boss, yes. He needs to be, like...
An alpha.
He could boss... Yeah, that's right, an alpha. Thank you. That's good. Like, he needs to be a bigger guy, someone who wears the pinky ring. I don't know. Like, she needs...
But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, because how do you go from big to a
Has a money clip.
A money
Has
clip.
A money clip. And wears cufflinks.
Mm-hmm.
Over
Smells
right.
good. Little too much cologne.
Yeah,
God,
it
now,
smells really
can
good,
you
but
write my
yeah.
Tinder profile? That's somebody I'd like to date.
That's who we're looking for. Yeah.
But how do you go from big to a substitute teacher? First of all, the financial dynamic is going to be, unless he's a total beta male, there's going to be an issue that she's a multimillionaire and he's, $80,000 a year. There's going to be a problem there. Like, I already have them married, like, fighting. That's never going to happen, so who cares?
Right. We could probably discuss their courting, marriage, and divorce. We could just go through all of it and say why all of it happens.
We said we're going to keep talking about it, and just like that, as long as our people are interested. Well, this entire series feels like fan fiction, so maybe we'll just start writing our own.
Yeah, we'll just
and reenacting
rewrite
it.
the whole show. Right. We'll rewrite
That's
the whole show.
not a bad idea. Yeah. Let's rewrite it and fix the whole fucking season.
We're really great at fixing things. We will fix this shit so everybody will love it. And maybe we'll, like, I don't know, get, what's his name? Darren Star. He's still alive, right? I thought someone joked he was dead.
I don't think he's dead.
Okay, maybe he'll, like, hook up with us and we can, like, produce
Well, I
the
don't know
show.
that he's involved anymore. I think it's just Michael Patrick King. I don't know. Oh, here we go. Do your research.
Oh, do your research. I'm just saying.
I think we've pretty much, with these reviews, cemented that we will never work. Not only in television, but especially on this show. Like, you're the guys from that podcast?
You don't get anything right.
You fucking assholes. Seema and Carrie, the show ends, full circle moment. Seema and Carrie are going to the Hot Guys Club in Brooklyn and going right to the front of the line and getting a thank you. Here I come. I really want to see Seema raw dogging that guy in the next episode. Please give us a finale, a true finale with closure. I want a lot of these storylines wrapped up. I want Naya's husband to leave her. Sorry, girl. I just want to see some things tied up with a bow.
Yeah, well, one thing I want to mention, we were talking about what they were wearing. Like, I think there's some clause that Carrie has to always dress better than everyone else in the scene, especially Seema. Because, back when they did they went to that party at Seema's house or whoever's house that was.
It was.
Carrie had all of that shit piled on her hair and all that stuff. And Seema looked beautiful, but she was definitely more pared down than what Carrie was. Well, this scene too, Carrie's wearing this like bright pink jacket and these beautiful, these jewels, and Seema's wearing like this like moss green dress where she just blends into the background. It made her look like a swamp frog. That's a Golden Girls reference. And I was like, damn, Seema is way more fabulous than Carrie. What are they doing here?
Yeah, I wish they'd play around with her hairstyles too. She's had one hairstyle throughout all this. So.
Yeah, they needed some. She needed to wear her hair up. Ooh. Now she would look great with her hair pulled back.
She would.
Pushed up or whatever, yeah.
I think she would. So that's the end of this episode. We've got one more to go, but it's not the end. Please check out our other recaps of the whole series. Like I said, we're going to do reaction to the finale promo on patreon.com/dragdungeon. And remember to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatever, @dragdungeon. And thank you for your comments. We have so many lovely people in our comments. Smart people. We have an abundance of very intelligent, oh, I fucked up the word intelligent and insightful people in our comments. So I just want to say thank you for the feedback. We really appreciate it.
Yes, we read all of them, and thank you so much. And some of your ideas of what the show should have been have cracked me up.
Me too.
I love them.
So thank you, and we will be back 1 week from today for the finale.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Favorite podcast.